What is Shamballa Reiki and how does it differentiate itself from other Reiki systems such as Usui Reiki, Karuna Reiki, Holy Fire Reiki, and any other system? Why and what makes Shamballa Reiki, the Shamballa multidimensional healing Reiki to be more precise, so special? Hi, I'm Vlad from ReikiScoop.com, and today we're going to talk a little bit about Shamballa MDH, multidimensional healing Reiki. So, before starting, considering liking, subscribing, and sharing this video so that other Reiki enthusiasts and teachers can find content such as this one. Shamballa Reiki. What is it? What kind of system is this and where does it originate from? Well, as with all Reiki systems, normally a Reiki system is channeled, meaning that a person who is dedicated to spiritual practices, a person who is interested in spiritual activities and is engaging with this kind of connection with the higher self, with divine energy, channels at one point through their intention, desire, rituals, channels something. In this case, their desire is to channel that perfect Reiki system, that system that can encompass everything. Well, while not every Reiki system is complete, let's say, similar to martial arts. Each martial arts addresses a different type of action dynamics, and all of them make a complete fighter. The same here with Reiki. There are many Reiki systems that address different aspects of the human psyche, levels of consciousness, energetic anatomy, therapy sessions, methods, practices, and so on. While Usui Reiki is the main basic system that allows you to place your mind, body, and soul in a state of healing. Also to detoxify both physically and emotionally elements from your body. Traumas, or at least surface traumas, not those deep ones maybe, but surface ones and elements that need to be healed or removed or improved so that you can get going. There are systems which go further, which take you further. What does this mean? Well, for example, Karuna Reiki, or Holy Fire, which is an extension of Karuna Reiki, has been known to work with the energy of archangels, with the energy of certain beneficial divine entities, the entities of peace, of harmony, nature's entities, archangels, healing deeper wounds, deeper emotional trauma, going from where Usui Reiki has left off and taking you to a whole new level in vibration, knowledge, consciousness, healing practices. And then there are systems for ascension. So basically what this means is that a Reiki system for ascension, there's also a system called Ascension Reiki, but that's not the point of discussion. That's just for you to know. What these systems do is that they help you transcend the idea of, basic healing, go even deeper than systems such as Karuna, which already went deeper healing for traumas from this life and past lives, and take you to an even further level, meaning that in vibration, but meaning that you are accessing higher levels of consciousness. And you are creating a harmonious connection between the inner self, the soul, the mind, and the divine consciousness, the connection with divine consciousness. Your connection with your guardian angel, with the archangels, becomes enhanced, but that's not all. Usually, systems for ascension address a few elements, such as transpersonal chakras. What are those? Those are chakras, energy centers, located outside the physical body area, the physical body spectrum. They are chakras above the crown chakra, below the root chakra. And they have different roles, and there's a whole story behind all this. Also, an ascension system is meant to change certain structures at one point, with your dedication obviously involved, with your dedicated involvement, if I said that correctly. It's meant to change certain structures, even DNA structures, so that you can energetically activate certain latent parts of the DNA from an energetic standpoint. At one point, there's a chance that even the physical part can be manifested within the DNA structure, and that changes your status. You're not going to be Superman, you're not going to levitate or fly, don't worry. You're still attributed to the physical realm, tributary to the physical realm. However, your awareness, perception, connection to divine energy, able to manifest things, and I'm not talking about manifesting an expensive car, I'm talking about manifesting certain opportunities, aspects, healing aspects, spiritual ascension aspects of your life. Obviously, as I mentioned, the vibration increases, but your engagement with yourself and understanding your role in this world and a connection with the outside world, with other people, with everything that surrounds you becomes clearer. Things like judgment, judgmental thoughts or criticism are just a thing of the past. But that can be achieved also with basic Reiki, can it not? Yes, of course. But here we go to a whole new level of wisdom, entering and tapping into divine wisdom. Also, you work with divine entities, sometimes with ascendant masters. And in Shamballa Reiki, that's the case. You work with symbols that, as I mentioned, help stimulate the activation of inert DNA sequences. You work with symbols like the flower of life, which is a whole concept that everything is connected within the multiverses. You work with sacred energies, in the case of Shambhala, with Mahatma energy, Shambhala energy, Christ consciousness energy, and silver violet flame of Saint Germain. When I say this Mahatma and Christ consciousness, this is not about religion. These energies existed a long time before we were even born as humankind. They have no connection to religions. They are just a description to show the high level of that energy, the vibration of that energy, which was manifested by certain individuals at one point on Earth. Some of those energies have not yet been manifested by certain individuals in the sense of fully engaged, fully manifested, like Mahatma Gandhi, for example. He manifested the Mahatma energy. Christ has manifested Christ consciousness. These are levels, spectrum levels within the universal life force energy. We have a lot of elements going on in Shamballa Reiki, from new symbols, from activating transpersonal chakras, activating inner DNA sequences, working with ascendant masters, tapping into new levels of consciousness, and obtaining that deep connection with oneself that it's very difficult to express in words. One needs to experience it in order to understand it. Shamballa Reiki is not the only ascension system. There's also Lighterian, there's also Seikam Reiki, which each offers a different idea of the same, a different aspect of the same idea, to be more precise. So, the thing is that Shamballa Reiki is special in this sense. Every Reiki system is special, but this one takes you from where Usui Reiki master level has ended, let's say, which goes to a certain level and kind of stops there. I know it sounds strange, but the stopping, I'm talking about the access within the universal life force energy that it's offered to you. You as a human being, you have the potential of going forward without being attuned to systems like Shambhala. It's a lot of work, but it can be done. Then we have Karuna, or Holy Fire, which takes it to a whole new level, and then Shamballa Reiki, which is, I wouldn't say the pinnacle of existence or the pinnacle of ascension, but it's a huge, huge step forward within the idea of spiritual progression. So, I do teach Shamballa Reiki, but I address mostly at least level 3 attuned practitioners in Usui Reiki. Why? Why would I want to do that? Why don't I address from the start, from 0 or from level 1? Well, because I did mention about transpersonal chakras, if you remember. And Shamballa Reiki has a particularity in this sense. Shamballa Reiki activates the superior transpersonal chakras, but also activates one lower transpersonal chakra, which is under the root chakra, and that's called the Earth Star Chakra. And this chakra is responsible with gathering all the energy and information, low vibrational mostly energy and information that you have stored throughout your lifetimes here on Earth, because our lifetimes were not only on Earth, but in the physical world mostly were on Earth. So the Earth Star Chakra stores all that energy and information, low vibration energy information we have manifested in previous lives and in this one. Once that opens up, which, make no mistake, to make a parenthesis, this is a beneficial chakra, it's not something malevolent. It just has the role of storing that. And it has a role in consciousness, believe it or not. When that opens up, all those elements begin to surface. So you need to solve them, you need to heal them, and there's sometimes a lot to heal. And if I take a practitioner, a non-practitioner, someone who has not engaged, not even in spiritual practices or very little in spiritual practices, I think that it might be a bit detrimental for them, at least from my perception. I might be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but from my perception, I think there's need for a bit of experience with Reiki, or with spiritual practices at least. That's why level 3 Usui Reiki, I'm not talking about the master teacher. Master practitioner is sufficient. Having access to Daikomyo, working with oneself, maybe practice on others. It's not a mandatory requirement to practice on others, but at least have experience with yourself, with the self-treatment, to know where you're coming from, to know what you are healing within yourself, to have a bit of an idea and clarity regarding at least yourself and what you need to improve, heal, change, and all those situations. So, considering that those elements surface, you have to deal with them. But you have the tools now, and you have the superior transpersonal chakras opened. You have a higher flow of universal life force energy from higher realms, higher spectrums. You have access to ascendant masters, to symbols that help you deal with these kind of things, to transmute those elements that surface. You have the sacred energies, the Mahatma energy, Shamballa energy, Christ consciousness energy, silver violet flame of Saint Germain. So you have the tools to work with. And again, there's a question, Vlad, but if I have the tools, why not start from zero with Shamballa Reiki? Because there's a lot going on. And Shamballa, as I mentioned, with all the elements within Shamballa Reiki, you need to have a little bit of experience. You need to know what Reiki feels like. You need to understand what's going on. And to just make things safe, from my perspective at least, Usui level 3A master practitioner is enough and the right point from where you can start Shamballa Reiki. And to be clear here, I do offer levels 1 and 2 in a whole package. I don't offer all of the levels at once, and I don't offer them one by one, because that's why when I'm addressing level 3 Usui Reiki master practitioner, you already have some experience. You can take on levels 1 and 2. Besides, you gain access to the symbols, you gain access to all the things I mentioned, to the sacred energies. Level 1 is not an introduction here, but I think that a practitioner will be more complete with 2 levels. Besides, you also gain access to symbols like Chokurei, Seiheki, Honshaze Shonen, Daikomyo, Raku. And it's already, from level 1, it's already a lot. That's why, again, I'm addressing people with a bit more experience and attuned to level 3 Usui Reiki master practitioner. So it's quite an ascension system, quite a beautiful system, quite a interesting system. It's my favorite one. And just to be clear, the person who channeled this system, to give credit, is John Armitage, Haridas Melchizedek, and he channeled this system in the late 90s, if I remember correctly. And after his departure from the United States of America, little has been known about Shamballa Reiki. Anyways, I do have an article about this. You can check it out in my article section. It's for free. And I also have my course, video course with 25 videos, and written course as well. If you're interested in Shamballa Reiki, you can write to me either on email, contact@reikiscoop.com, or you can comment in the comment section below. That's my take, very short and brief take on Shamballa Reiki. There's a lot more to talk about, but that's what I have to say in short. So thank you for being here. Consider subscribing, sharing, and liking this video so that other Reiki enthusiasts and teachers might find content such as this one. Thank you so much for being here, and blessings. I'll see you in the next one.